What's up, guys? Well, now that the 636 has got the full M4 exhaust and the velocity stacks from Two Wheel Dyno Works as well as their tune, is it now the favorite bike in the fleet? Well, look, I wouldn't go so far as to say that, but it is an absolute riot to ride. And I guess it depends on my mood for the day as far as which spot on the podium the 636 or the GSX-R 1000 will take. But I will say this, in terms of transforming a motorcycle, I don't think that I've ever owned a bike that putting an exhaust tune and stacks on made as big of a difference as it has with the 636. Look, the bike now will put down around 126 to 127 horsepower at the rear tire. It pulls clean to 14,500 RPM. And because of the power output and the RPM and the very aggressive gearing that this bike has, it is exceptionally snappy to ride. And I gotta say that personality alone can put it at the top of anybody's podium at any time, especially now that the suspension has been sorted out. It's on a set of Bridgestone S22, so it's got the right tires, the right feel. Everything about this bike is now so exceptionally well balanced that I find myself riding the 636 with a little bit more reckless abandon, for lack of a better way to put it. Whereas the leader bike, well, it's always going to require a bit more respect, a lot more power, especially when you consider the fact that this GSX-R 1000 is also boasting a Two Wheel Dyno Works tune and full M4 exhaust. It's no joke. It's putting down around 185 horsepower at the rear tire. It is a practical monster. And because of that, well, God, there is a certain aura about riding a leader bike. I get it. But man, is it more fun? I don't know about that, but think of it like this. The 636, this bike is really more smiles per hour than miles per hour. And I gotta say, there are times where if I grab the keys to the 636, I might not be riding the GSX-R 1000 on the same day. That's just how much fun that I have with it. But I will tell you that once you get used to the power and once you get acclimed to how one of these leader bikes can put down that power, it's a pretty difficult drug to shake. And I gotta tell you, in the event of that kind of jonesing, look, there's no replacement for displacement. I recently got back from a bit of a practice run with the GSX-R 1000, and I was reminded of how much of a handful that this bike can be, what with it trying to do little power wheelies in fourth gear. Now, both bikes will do that. It's just that fourth gear in a leader bike pulling power wheelies at 120 or 130 miles an hour is a little bit different than a middleweight pulling power wheelies at, say, 65 miles an hour, maybe 70. I think you get the idea. There are differences in this game. There are levels here. But the good thing about it is that once you have the opportunity to experience both bikes, and when they're both very well sorted out, take from them what you will. I know that a lot of folks will say that the middleweight is the optimum amount of performance and balance for the street. With the amount of power now that this 636 is putting down, and with how it puts down that power, I can tell you that it is a riot, and it will pull strongly to 130, 140 miles an hour, which for a lot of folks is plenty fast. In fact, for pretty much anybody, it should be plenty fast. But for those with a little bit more aspirational endeavors in mind, there's again no replacement for a true leader class motorcycle. And when they're properly sorted out, they can be absolutely as docile as a sleeping pussycat going down the highway, just with the understanding that with a couple of gears on the downshift and a fistful of throttle, you can be propelled into triple-digit speeds within a blink of an eye. Literally. So which one is more fun? Well, I don't know that you can really say that one is more fun than the other because they bring a different level of fun. You have forgiving, and then you have ferocious. And they both can be a riot, provided that you keep your wits about you and you practice a little bit of throttle control. Then the leader class bike is going to offer up a bit more of a rich riding experience. But if you're mainly buying a sport bike with no ego to be fractured, and you want a bike that is going to be fun, it's going to be engaging, and it's going to be a riot for a very long time, and it's never really going to leave you bored, well, then the middleweight's going to be really the right bike for you. And I got to say that if given the opportunity, I would love to ride both of these bikes at any given time and have a blast with either one of them. But I would never be able to say which one I like more than the other. But again, I guess it just depends on which bike I just got back with. And I did just get back with the Gixxer Thou. And yeah, when PG time is over and it's time to really get down, I gotta say it's leader bike for me. But let me know what you think. Which bike do you like better? Which bike suits your personality better? And I will leave you with this parting shot. And if you made it this far, consider hitting that subscribe button. It helps the channel out a ton. I hope to catch you on the next one, guys. Take care.